Most races around college football lack clarity, but Week 13 is destined to provide some long-awaited answers. In the Big 12, BYU travels to Arizona State for a critically important game. Indiana plays at Ohio State in a matchup that effectively will decide who will take on Oregon for the Big 10 championship. And for unbeaten Army, a showdown with Notre Dame is a chance to show whether it can compete on the national stage. For some programs, this is truly a make or break weekend. Dreams of reaching a conference championship game or making the college football playoff may officially vanish with a loss. Hey there, welcome everybody to the Week 13 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. We got a loaded slate, guys, so we're not going to waste too much time here. Games on the docket, so we're going to waste too much time. Let's dive on into that Friday night matchup, which will be tomorrow night at 10 p.m. over on FS1, Fox Sports 1. It will feature the number 20, and remember, of course, the rankings by the College Football Playoff rankings, the newest ones that came out this past Tuesday night. The number 24 UNLV Rebels on the road against the San Jose State Spartans, CEFCU Stadium in San Jose, California. And on the call for this game on Fox Sports 1 will be Trent Rush and Petros Papadakis, and UNLV opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. UNLV is markedly the better team, although strange things happen on the road. It seems like the expectation is more that San Jose State should be able to hang around than UNLV will actually lose. It's tough to trust the San Jose State offense with 4 turnovers in 3 of their last 4 games. So I am going with UNLV to win this game. My final score, 37-24. UNLV defeats San Jose State tomorrow night. So not much more to say on that. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Week 13 of the college football season kicks off tomorrow night on FS1, number 24, UNLV at San Jose State.
Yeah, and I'm with you on this one. I believe UNLV should win this game, win this one pretty comfortably as well. So I really got nothing more to add. So Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the UNLV to win this one as well. I mean, I think they should have no problem with San Jose State. So UNLV wins. So Florio, let's move on to the Saturday slate of games, and I think we're leading it off with the main event.
Yep, it's one of those rare ass backward shows because the main event is in the early portion of the show here. Well,
and
the main event will
be
be
the
kicking
spread
off
for this game.
Well, it's actually been updated here, so I'll get to that in just a moment. It's the first of 5 12 noon games that we're going to be getting into here this evening. But we do start it off with the game of the week, the main event. A true David versus Goliath matchup here. As the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes at home at the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium in Columbus, and they are welcoming the number 5 Indiana Hoosiers. And it's big noon Saturday on Fox. You know who's working it as always. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. This spread's been topsy-turvy throughout the week, but as of what I have right now on my sheet here, Ohio State opening up as now a 10-point favorite. The spread is now 10 for Ohio State. So there isn't anything else left to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's only fitting. It's only fitting you lead off on this because this is your conference, the Big Ten. The number 2 Ohio State expected to be here. None of us, honest to goodness, none of us had the Indiana Hoosiers not only being this good, but a top 5 team, Indiana, number 5, going up against Ohio State. Talk about a David versus Goliath here. And oh, by the way, major Big Ten championship game implications.
Yeah, and that's the key thing. If CFP implications, Big Ten championship implications, and basically if Indiana loses, this will only be their first loss of the season. No harm, no foul. It will hurt them though, more significantly because of the fact of where it goes down. If Ohio State loses, they're out. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. They are out. They can't get the Big Ten championship. And with 2 losses and with the logjam of a whole bunch of teams in that situation, I do not see Ohio State making the college football playoff. If Ohio State loses on Saturday, their season is done. They are out, they are goners, and they will not make it to the college football playoff, in my opinion. If Indiana loses, they're basically their road to the college football playoffs gets worse, but I don't think they would be completely out. It would help Ohio State. Ohio State would literally be guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff if they win. I don't think they would be punished at that point because to knock off an undefeated would be a big cap on the resume for them. And as everybody knows, their lone loss up to this point was a heartbreaker to Oregon. So it would help them get the shot at the Big Ten championship because at that point it would not matter what would happen in this situation. Yes, if Ohio State should lose to Michigan, I don't think it would be a harm foul type situation because then you would have that little head-to-head thing. As long as Indiana doesn't lose another game or loses another game. So this is one of those where if you look at the point spread, you see it and you're like, whoa, what? Why 10 points? That's a little high. That's a little steep. Why is that the case? Ohio State is the better team. They have been the better team. Look, the one game that they did lose was against Oregon, and I think if you really think about it, that game you could even make an argument Ohio State should have won that game. So yes, there's going to be a little bit of that trepidation, but if you're Ohio State, you just got to handle your business. You win the game next week, this Saturday, then you can focus on the big one against Michigan. Because everybody knows that's the game. Even though, yes, Michigan is a shell of where they were a year ago. And I know a lot of people will say Ohio State will be the overwhelming favorite going into that game. We know that. I don't think we can gloss over that. But you know what Michigan is thinking. We've beat you 2 years in a row. We beat you in the big house. We beat you in your house last year. Now you're coming back to Michigan. You're coming back to Ann Arbor. You're coming back to the big house. You know the Michigan Wolverines got one thing and one thing only. To stick the dagger in the back of Ohio State and be the ones to screw them out of the college football playoff. There's no more hyperbole in this situation. If you're Michigan, the thing in your back of your mind is simple. To put Ohio State out, to stick the dagger in them and say, F you, Ohio State. You ain't getting crap. You're going to get nothing and like it. But we got to get to the game beforehand. Indiana's thinking this way. we are already being disrespected. Nobody's giving us a chance to beat Ohio State. Nobody thinks we can realistically win. Yes, you hear the naysayers like, oh, but they had the 104th ranked schedule in the country. They never played anybody really good. There's been so much garbage that Indiana's been dealing with up to this point. Now you're going to the horseshoe. Now you're going to Ohio State Stadium, and they're thinking blowout. They're thinking they're going to get ransacked. They don't deserve to be in this spot. The whole 9 yards. Ohio State's going to win this game. I agree. I'm going to say Ohio State wins. But it's going to be closer than what the experts have it. And I will openly admit this. If I'm an Ohio State fan, if it gets close in the fourth quarter, where it's literally a one-score game, I would be very nervous in that moment because you know Indiana can absolutely flip the switch at that point and drown you right before your very eyes. They did it to Michigan. Michigan hung tough early on. It looked like they had a chance. But Indiana made the plays where it mattered down the stretch, and they got the win over the Wolverines. They can do that to Ohio State. If they punch them in the mouth and they rattle that team can be had. The blueprint was laid out by Oregon. Oregon laid out the blueprint for how to beat the Buckeyes. If they do it, they win it. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ohio State is just going to do enough to get the job done. I got the Buckeyes winning. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
First off, Fletch, I have some corrections for you.
I found it. I saw it. I noticed.
Yeah. And this year's game will be at Ohio State between Michigan and Ohio State. So I'm sure you read the chat there. So yeah. And the thing is, and the thing is for Indiana, this is like bulletin board material. Because they're probably looking at the spread like, wait a minute, we're the number 5 team in the nation and we're 10-point underdogs. That's the last thing you want to do is give a team bulletin board material. And they're probably looking at like, and they're gonna be like on Saturday, like, oh yeah, you think we're 10-point underdogs? Watch us. And I think this is gonna be a lot closer than what the experts are saying, or what even what the spread is, because Indiana's overcome so much. I mean, just to get to this number 5 ranking. I mean, going into the season, I don't think any of us had them. I mean, yes, we probably would have them in the rankings, but top 5, I don't think we could have even envisioned. And the thing is, when you think Indiana University, what's the one thing you always think of?
Basketball.
College hoops.
Exactly.
And the late great Robert Montgomery Knight too.
Exactly. But this year is all about football when it comes to Indiana. And this is their chance to make a name for themselves, to go into Ohio State, the number 2 ranked team in the nation, and basically put themselves in a spot where they're in the Big Ten championship game and also be in the college football playoff. And I agree, if Ohio State were to somehow lose this game, I think they're out of the college football playoff. I mean, because like you said, Fletch, this would be their second loss. And
plus their path to the Big Ten championship would be closed, because by then it would actually be official. It would be Oregon versus Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game. It would be official.
Yes, exactly. And if just imagine if if Ohio State loses this week, and then somehow, some way, they lose to Michigan, I'm gonna say it right now, guys. Ryan Day that seat is gonna be as hot as it has ever been.
Oh no, he's gone. I'll save you the drama here, Bullock. If he loses the Big Ten if he can't even get to the Big Ten championship game and loses to Michigan, he's gone. He's fired. He's out. There's no
Exactly.
doubt in my mind.
Oh, there's no doubt about it for me too.
No,
I mean,
he's gone.
they lose this game, and to be out of the Big Ten championship and maybe the college football playoff, and to lose to Michigan for a fourth straight year, he's done. He's finished. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if somehow, some way, Ohio State brings back Ryan Day, because how much more can they take before they officially say enough is enough and it's time for a change? So
We've always said it whenever it's been in college football, and you know this, Michael Bullock. The one thing that is measured more than anything else, there's a standard, and it's with Michigan. If you're a Michigan head coach, the mission is very clear: beat Penn State, beat Michigan State, beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten championship, and win the national championship. That is the blueprint for Michigan. If you're Ohio State, it's basically the same thing, but there's a major emphasis on beating Michigan. Any other team, it's fine and dandy. But if you cannot beat the Wolverines, then there's a major problem. Huh?
Especially with the way Michigan is this season. They're not the same team.
No, and they are. They're not.
Because
a lot of their star players went to the NFL. So we know that. We know the Wolverines are a shell of what they were. It's going to take a couple of years before the Wolverines come back and reload and become the Michigan that you and I got to see. Like you saw when Jim Harbaugh was the head coach. It took him at least 3 or 4 or 5 years before he finally got over the thing, over the hump.
It was 2021 that they finally got over Ohio State.
Yeah, and we noticed, and you noticed what happened. They got past Ohio State, got to the playoff. 22, same thing. Got over Ohio State,
but
made the playoff. 23 was the golden year. That was the magical moment because not only did they get Ohio State, not only did they get the Big Ten, but they won the national championship.
And I'm sure that was something that really ate away at the Ohio State University.
Oh, absolutely. Just like when Ohio State won the national championship all those years ago. I think it was the year that they started the BCS when Ohio State won it all. Oh, it ate me alive.
And how many times?
It ate me alive. It ate up the Michigan Wolverine fans alive because we do not want Ohio State to be successful.
And how many times did Ryan Day beat Michigan? Only once, and that was in 2019.
Yeah, I think it was his first time out.
Yeah. So since then, he's been like 1-3 against.
Yep.
So
against the Wolverines.
Yeah. So either way, if they lose these 2 games, not only are they out of the college football playoff, but I think Ryan Day is done. He's finished. Fletch and I agree. Where do you stand on that, Florio? As I got Ohio State winning this one, and I think it's going to be close. But if Ohio State somehow loses this game, we're all going to be glued to next week's game, because if somehow, some way, they lose to this Michigan team, I think he's done. I think he's finished.
Oh, he's done. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Ohio State is one of the most powerful college football programs out there. I mean, their mission statement every year, I'm almost certain, is national championship or bust. And they're tired of bust. They've had every year they have enormous expectations. This year, no exception.
Especially after what happened last year when they had to watch their rival win the national championship.
Their arch nemesis, the Michigan Wolverines, and we will most assuredly be talking about that game next week as part of our football feast. MF, we have to discuss the day and the time for that down the line. But nonetheless, that's the story. This is a David versus Goliath matchup here, guys. I mean, this is without a doubt, this is the biggest game in the history of Indiana football. No doubts. They have never had a game of this magnitude. Like Bullock said, Indiana has always been thought of as a basketball school. The late, great Robert Montgomery Knight, Bobby Knight, and all the history he made there, although the three national championships that he took Indiana to in 1976, 1981, and 1987. I mean, when you think about the legacy of the Indiana Hoosiers, I mean, if they were to win this game, this is without a doubt the biggest win in school history. And then they'll have a chance for an even bigger win against the Oregon Ducks in the Big Ten championship. But we will see what happens. But for right now, I got to get into my notes here, of course. So let me dive on in here. This is one of the best Big Noon Saturday games Fox has had this season, featuring the number 5 Indiana Hoosiers, 10-0 and 7-0 in conference play, against the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes, 9-1 overall and 6-1 in Big Ten play. Both ESPN's College Game Day and Fox's Big Noon Kickoff will be in Columbus to set this one up. And while Ohio State is a 10-point home favorite, this could still be quite an interesting one. For Indiana, quarterback Curtis Rourke remains a key story. He's thrown for 2,410 yards and 21 touchdowns with only 4 interceptions and a completion percentage of almost 72%, but has been less successful than normal across his last 3 games and missed their game against Washington on October 26th due to injury. We'll see what he can do in this one. Meanwhile, freshman Ohio State wide receiver Jeremiah Smith continues to find success with 49 catches, 865 yards, 9 touchdowns, and averaging a ridiculous 18 yards a catch. That's insane. This is a tremendous prove-it opportunity for Indiana, which has received criticism for a soft Big Ten schedule. Right or wrong, and remember, the conference put that together. The noise can be silenced with a strong day at Ohio State. Though the Buckeyes should win because of their defense, a turnover or two could flip the game in a hurry. I think it's going to be close going into the fourth quarter, but I think Ohio State will put it away with a late touchdown and win a little more comfortably. I have Ohio State winning this one 27-17. Ohio State defeats Indiana in what should be a very fun game that I, for one, cannot wait to tune into. I know we're all going to be invested in this one, so man, is that going to be a fun game. So with that being said, let's dive back. Let's get back into the remaining 12 noon games here. We got a lot of games to get into here. Next up, the now number 8 Miami Hurricanes at home against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida. ESPN will have this game. Mark Jones, Roddy Jones, and Quint Kessenich will have the call. Miami opening up as a 24.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, we started off with you here. The U at home against Wake Forest. And you know Miami's going to be hopping mad after they got embarrassed by Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you know that they're hopping mad after that performance there, and they're going to take it out on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons here. So I got Miami winning, and this one's not even going to be close. So it's yours for you.
Yeah, it's going to be the U. bear with me for a moment as I find it. Okay. Except for a disastrous Florida State team, every ACC opponent has scored at least 28 points against Miami. I expect Wake Forest's unique slow mesh offense will be a problem for a defense that has dealt with a litany of issues, from alignment to communication to execution. Simultaneously, the Canes should be able to score a ton of points on a bad defense. Miami wins this one. I got the U. I think they'll get it right. They'll bounce back. 41-31. I got the U over Wake Forest. So not much more to say. MF, this is your other team, the U. Back at home. They got Wake. Wake's coming in. And as you always say, they're going to be bringing the tiki torches and the pitchforks after they got embarrassed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, and this is a must win for Miami. I mean, some way, somehow, magically, if you notice, if you saw the latest bracket that came out, they're actually in the ACC championship game. And if that's the case, so basically all they need to do is just win. If they win their games, they're going to Charlotte. They're gonna face SMU, and they just gotta win out, and they have a shot at the ACC title and a guaranteed first round bye in the college football playoff. So they would automatically be in the bowl games. So if you're Miami, you're thinking, okay, we let one get away, knuckle down, start focusing, win your remaining games. That's all you need to do. Just win out, and you're through. They're gonna do it. I got the Miami Hurricanes winning this game. Nothing more to say. Florio, back to you.
All right, and we move on to our next matchup. The number 9 Ole Miss Rebels on the road against the Florida Gators, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the Swamp in Gainesville, Florida. You can find this game over on ABC. Interesting announced pairing here. Normally, it's Sean McDonough with Greg McElroy, but Bob Wischusen will be sitting in for Sean McDonough. As it will be Bob Wischusen, Greg McElroy, and Molly McGrath. They will have the call. And Ole Miss opening up as a 10.5-point favorite. So 10.5 to spread for Ole Miss. Florida was a nuisance for Tennessee and Georgia before upsetting LSU last week. So the Gators certainly aren't being overlooked here. Given that Ole Miss is better on both sides of the ball, I'm not picking Florida, but Ole Miss likely will not be comfortable until the fourth quarter, if at all. I have Ole Miss winning this game. Ole Miss wins by a final score of 24-13. Give me Ole Miss over Florida. So not much more to say. MF, Ole Miss against Florida. Trap game for Ole Miss because remember, Florida upset LSU in the Swamp last week. Now they got Ole Miss coming in. Can they pull off another upset?
Yeah, I know. Is this a trap game, or is Ole Miss, can Ole Miss overcome and survive it? I think they can. I think Ole Miss will overcome and survive. I just feel like maybe that was just because LSU probably took their eye off the ball, didn't focus enough because they thought, oh, Florida's a shell of their team, and Florida is like, yeah, remember, we're still the Gators. I feel like this is going to be Ole Miss's game. I don't think they're going to fall into the trap, and I think they'll win this game. So I got nothing more to say, and Michael Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I got the Ole Miss Rebels winning this one and handling their business with Florida. So let's move on to the next game.
And speaking of the aforementioned SMU, we're going to talk about them next. They have the next 12 noon game here. The number 13 SMU Mustangs on the road against the Virginia Cavaliers, Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia. And this game can be found over on ESPN2. ESPN2 will have this game, and working this game will be Roy Philpott, Sam Acho, and Taylor Davis. And SMU opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. MF, you mentioned them a few minutes ago. Number 13, SMU on the road at Virginia, as SMU looks to inch a step closer to making history and going all the way to and making the ACC championship game in their first year in the conference. What a story for them.
Yeah, and I do believe they will get there. So I got SMU winning this game. I think they're heading off to Charlotte, and there's really nothing more to add on that one. So Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got SMU winning this one. I mean, yeah, what a season it is for them in their first year in the ACC, and I could definitely and we'll definitely see them in Charlotte, and especially with the history with SMU and everything they went through. No need to rehash it. So, yeah, SMU wins and moves on to the ACC championship game for the first time. So it is yours, Florio.
On paper, I cannot find a convincing reason to expect Virginia to be a threat. The offense is a below-average unit and has not cracked 350 yards in a month, and the defense is 90th nationally in yards allowed per play. Nevertheless, the spread has hovered around double digits, has hovered around 10 points, even though it's 9.5 right now. I envision SMU rolling, and that's really all I can say there. So I'm going with SMU to win this one as well. My final score, 38-21, SMU over Virginia. So we have one more 12 noon game left, and we go to the Big Ten for this one. The number 25, Illinois Fighting Illini, on the road against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers at SHI Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. You can find this game over, and this game will be exclusively on Peacock. So if you're looking for this game, go to Peacock to tune in. And on the call for this one, it'll be Andrew Siciliano and Michael Robinson. They will have the call. And believe it or not, Rutgers is opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. A little surprising. So, Michael Bullock, what says you here as we talk about number 25, Illinois, at Rutgers to round out the 12 noon slate?
Yeah, it is a little surprising that Rutgers is a 1.5-point favorite. So, yeah, this game could be like you said, a trap game for Illinois. I mean, they could, who knows? I could see it happening, but at the end of the day, I still think Illinois will somehow pull it out. But man, it could definitely come to at some point later in the game where it's going to be really, really close. So I got Illinois winning, but you know what, Florio? I would not at all be surprised if Rutgers does pull it out.
Absolutely. I mean, Rutgers is a scrappy team. I'm going to be honest with you. In all likelihood, this will be a low-scoring game. Neither team commits many turnovers, but neither defense is particularly adept at creating them either. So, I mean, there's a small part of me that actually wants to pull the trigger and call for an upset here, especially with the game being in Rutgers. But I don't know. For some odd reason, the gut's telling me to go with the Illini here. So I'm going to take a chance and go with Illinois to win. I'm not overly confident, I'll be honest. 23-20, I'm going with Illinois to defeat Rutgers, but I would not at all be surprised if Rutgers were to pull the upset here. So not much more to say. MF, number 25, Illinois at Rutgers. What says you?
Yeah, like you said, I think this is kind of one of those type of games where you just don't know what you're going to get. I think Illinois is going to win this one. You know, I just feel like they're due for a win here. So give me Illinois to win it. Really nothing more to say. And Anthony, back to you.
This is very interesting. How about a 12:45 kickoff, guys? 12:45 over on the SEC network. The number 10 Maiden Georgia Bulldogs at home at Sanford Stadium, the Hedges in Athens, and they're hosting the UMass Minutemen. The UMass Minutemen coming to Georgia. SEC Network is where you can find this game. Dave Neal and Max Starks will have the call. And Georgia opening up as the biggest favorite of the week, according to my spreadsheet here. Georgia is opening up, gentlemen, as a 42.5-point favorite.
Ouch.
42.5 for Georgia against UMass.
That's a major ouch.
There's a spread just as big in just a little bit. You thought that spread was big. I got one just as big in our next game in just a moment. But first, taking down UMass, no problem. Finding a way. Actually, I stand corrected. I read the wrong thing. All right, now I got it. As usual, SEC teams have a painless, well, it should be non-conference game on the November slate. Georgia will cruise past UMass and set up a critical clash with their arch rival Georgia Tech, where a victory should lock Georgia as a playoff-bound team. Georgia is going to smash UMass. It's not even going to be close. It's the lock of the week for me. 56-3. Georgia all over UMass. MF, quick thought?
Yeah, this should be a comfortable win for Georgia. I don't really think there's really much for us to say here. Nothing more to add. And before I give it to you, Michael Bullock, we may have a major upset on our hands in a snowy, cold Cleveland Browns stadium. The Browns are just taking the lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And they're going for 2.
What?
They're going for 2 right now.
Well, right now it's 24-19 with 57 seconds left in the game. Oh my goodness. The Yinzers are going to lose their minds if the Steelers lose this game to Cleveland, man.
The who? The who are going to lose their minds?
The Yinzers. Pat McAfee reference. That's why. Forget it.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard what you said. That's all.
Yeah, I call it the Yinzers. That's what I meant.
I thought Florio was going to pull a Bobby Heenan from the Hall of Fame. Like, what the hell did he just say?
Dude, I've been doing it to Florio so many times with especially the Pat McAfee references. He's always like, what?
Especially the Swantini Bambini. I mean,
yeah.
Oh man.
So, but anyways, yes.
All right.
This NFL game, I'm telling you, I mean, I have had so much fun with this game. I mean,
yeah, Cleveland had no chance. I mean, they had no business of being this close.
That's not the reason, but that's one of the reasons. But the main reason, if you know MF, like Bullock, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but MF knows this better than anybody. I love me some cold weather snow football. Baby.
Oh, who doesn't?
Oh man, and this is fun. I'm
Florio's the cold weather boy of the group. He loves the snow on the field.
Yes, and especially the heavy snow coming down. And while MF loves himself the rain and the mud. Go back and watch the 1977 NFC divisional playoff between the Minnesota Vikings and LA Rams. That's the greatest Mud Bowl game of all time. So, but anyways, Bullock, I don't know if you gave your thoughts on it, but UMass and Georgia, what says you?
Yeah, I gotta go with Georgia. I mean, this isn't even gonna be close. I'm not gonna waste too much time on it, but yeah, Florio, you said you thought this spread was big, but tell us the spread on the next game because I'm interested to hear this.
Well, and on top of that, we have another rarity. We have a rare 1:00 kickoff. When you think 1:00 kickoff, you're thinking NFL or Major League Baseball or afternoon matinees in the NHL or NBA. No, we got one here in college football. It's not as big as Georgia, but it's a little smaller, but it's just as big. The number 11 Tennessee Volunteers at home at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, and they're hosting the University of Texas El Paso Miners. And this will be on the SEC network. I reckon, SEC Plus, SEC Plus, ESPN Plus, Lowell Galindo, Fozzie Whitaker on the call. Tennessee opening up as a 40.5-point favorite. 40.5 for Tennessee against UTEP. There isn't anything else left to say. MF, quick thought.
Yeah, no, this is a simple call for me, man. This is pretty simple for me. I can easily say I got Tennessee winning this game, and Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, Tennessee for me as well. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Taking down UTEP, no problem. Finding a way back to the correct side of the projected college football playoff bracket, that, on the other hand, is a true dilemma for the Vols. This is another lock. Tennessee's going to smash UTEP 48-7. That's my final. So, all right, gentlemen. We got another loaded time slot here. We had a loaded 12 noon slot. We got a loaded 3:30 slot. 5 3:30 games. And we started off with the Big Ten on CBS. The number 4 Penn State Nittany Lions on the road against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Huntington Bank Stadium in Minnesota. And you can find this game, like I said, Big Ten on CBS. You know who's working this as always. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell. Penn State opening up as an 11.5-point favorite. So I believe Michael Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, we 3:30 slate. Number 4 Penn State on the road against Minnesota. The Big Ten on CBS.
Yeah, like you said, Penn State, obviously, they need to basically, to me, I think they need to basically win out their schedule and see what happens with Championship Saturday to see if they somehow get into the college football playoff. So I think they should be able to handle their business with Minnesota. So nothing more to say, Florio. So like I just said, if they want to still be in the college football playoff, I think they need to win out the rest of their games and then see what happens with championships Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just give me 1 second here. Is this okay? The Nittany Lions, 9-1 overall, 6-1 in Big Ten conference play, enter this one 4th in the CFP rankings, and they can continue their push for a top seed with a strong performance here. And they're favored to do so, coming in as an 11.5-point favorite on the road against the Golden Gophers, who are 6-4 overall and 4-3 in the Big Ten. But Minnesota enters off a tough 26-19 road loss at Rutgers and may be out for some revenge. For Penn State, a key figure is tight end Tyler Warren, who has a team-high 808 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns on 67 catches, averaging 12 yards a catch to date. For Minnesota, keep an eye on their linebacker Cody Lindenberg, who has a team-high 76 tackles to date with 1 sack and 1 interception. All right. Okay, and Minnesota must be respected considering their defense has yielded just almost 18 points a game. The problem is Minnesota's offense has notched a conference low 7 games of 30-plus yards, and lacking explosiveness against a sturdy Penn State team is asking for trouble. I got Penn State winning this game 27-13. Penn State wins at Minnesota. MF, what says you?
Yeah, I agree. Penn State wins. I think they've been really good. And, yeah, I got them having a good win and a big victory for them. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Okay. And, well, I went a little bit out of order, but that's okay. I just noticed it now. I thought they had it at a different time. But that's okay. It's only one game. It's all right. I figured it out after that. It's what happens when you have a loaded slate of games. So, okay. This is the only out of order we're going to have on the night. The number 3 Texas Longhorns at home at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium in Austin, and they're going to be hosting the Kentucky Wildcats on ABC. And on the call for that game will be the voice of Monday Night Raw, Mr. Joe Tessitore, along with Jesse Palmer and Katie George. Texas opening up as a 20.5-point favorite. So I have no confidence in anything about Kentucky. I think the Wildcats play up to their competition. See Georgia, Ole Miss, and even Tennessee, but they've also had several awful performances this season. Texas wins largely since Kentucky averages 14 points against power conference teams. Will it be close or a blowout? Who knows? But I think Texas will win rather comfortably. 34-14. Texas all over Kentucky. Not much more to say. MF, what says you? Number 3, Texas at home against Kentucky. A little out of order, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. It's Texas. That would have been my prediction going in. That's my prediction right now. Texas wins this game. Nothing more to add. And Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Texas winning this one as well. I mean, I think they should be able. They'll easily handle their business with Kentucky because, like you said, there's nothing really good about Kentucky. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So, yep, and we got a
It's
final here,
happened.
folks.
They did it.
The Cleveland Browns have done it. They upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 24 to 19.
19. The Cleveland Browns upset the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh no, Tone Diggs it's gonna get it tomorrow at the Pat McAfee show. He's a diehard Steeler fan. The Hammer Down Lounge is gonna be broken in half tonight. Oh no. Oh no.
The Browns improved to 3-8 on the season. The Steelers dropped to 8-3. And for the Cleveland Browns, it's their first time winning consecutive regular season games against Pittsburgh since 1999 and 2000. So,
hey, hats off to the Brownies, man. Well done.
Could we consider this their Super Bowl?
Big win for them.
Hey, and let's also not forget they also beat Baltimore too. So.
Yeah. Hey, even though they're having a bad season, even though their season hasn't been the best, to say that they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens in a season, hey, that's a feather in the cap anywhere in the world.
And we will have we will elaborate a great deal more on this game tomorrow night as part of NFL Friday. You best believe that. So, yeah. So, Michael Bullock, did you give your thoughts on Kentucky and number 3 Texas?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure because we got caught up in the game there. So, okay. So, all right. So now we're gonna go in order the rest of the way. I promise you. And we got another big game here. This is our number 3 game of the week right here. Big one here. This is a 3:30 game on ESPN. Huge game in the Big 12. The number 14 BYU Cougars on the road against the number 21 Arizona State Sun Devils. Mountain America Stadium in I believe that's I'm almost certain that's got to be the old Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. They just changed the name of it. It's now known as Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, but huge game nonetheless. And just hang on one second here. I just need to do a little quick math here. All right. I believe MF starts this one off. So number 14, BYU, number 21, Arizona State. Arizona State opening up as a 3-point favorite. And on the call for this game, by the way, it'll be Dave Patch, Dusty Dvoracek, and Taylor McGregor. And like I said, Arizona State opening up as a 3-point favorite. MF, number 14, BYU, number 21, Arizona State. Huge implications when it comes to the Big 12 side of things.
Yeah, big implications. This could decide who's going, who's not going. Going into this season, I would have said BYU, but Arizona State's been really playing good lately, and they've really caught fire. And I honestly think they're going to do it. So give me BYU, give me Arizona State, I should say, to beat BYU. So yeah, I believe the Vegas odds makers got it right. I do believe Arizona State will win this one. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Wow, I mean, yeah, I could actually see it going that way too. So, I'm with Fletch. I'm actually going to go with Arizona State to win this and beat BYU. So it's yours, Florio.
Arizona State, understandably, is favored, especially being at home. despite the loss to Kansas, I'm not bailing on BYU because of its sturdy defense. But there is no question the offense is becoming a concern after scoring 1 touchdown in 7 red zone trips and converting just 4 of 22 third down attempts in the last 2 games. I'm still going with BYU in this one, but if Arizona State were to win, I would not at all be surprised. And I'll eat the humble pie from these guys. So I'm actually going to go with BYU to win. 27-23, give me BYU to defeat Arizona State. So, all right, let's see. Next up, another big game in the Big 12. The number 16 Colorado Buffaloes on the road against the Kansas Jayhawks. Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. That's where this game will be played. And you can find this game over on Fox. And I believe Jason Benetti's crew is working this game. Yes, it is. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams. Colorado opening up as a 3-point favorite. Michael Bowick, started with you. Coach Prime in Colorado, they're the real deal. But they got a trap game against Kansas and the same Kansas team that upset BYU a week ago.
Yeah, like you said, this could be a trap game here for Colorado. But somehow I think Colorado will find a way to get the victory and continue on this run that they're on right now. So give me Colorado to win. So it is yours, Florio.
Yeah. You want absolute chaos in the Big 12? Pull for Kansas, which upended then undefeated BYU last week. Colorado's improvement looks genuine, though, and the Buffs are surging toward the league championship game. Kansas has a habit of playing close games, but I think Colorado keeps winning. It'll be close, but I'm going to go with Colorado to pull it out. I think Colorado will steal one at Arrowhead. 31-26, Colorado holds off a very game Kansas team. So not much more to say. MF, number 16, Colorado at Kansas at Arrowhead. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I got Colorado as well. They've turned it around, full on turn it around. You got Travis Hunter, who could now be the Heisman Trophy winner this season. Deion Sanders maybe could be Coach of the Year the way he's been playing, and Shakur Sanders has been very good. That O-line has finally found their rhythm. Shador has not dealt with that many pressure or trouble in any of the situation. I believe Colorado is going to win this game and win this one pretty comfortably. So, Florio, it's back to you.
All right. And we move on now to our next 3:30 matchup. Actually, I think it's our last 3:30 matchup. I think we got into all the other ones here. The number 17 Clemson Tigers at home at Memorial Stadium in Death Valley. And they're going to be hosting the Bulldogs of the Citadel. And you can find this game over on the CW. CW will have this game. And on the call for this one, it'll be Tom Brenneman and Max Brown. They will have the call. And no spread. I don't have a spread for this one. You would have to imagine Clemson has got to be an overwhelming favorite in this one. So I don't have a spread, but anyways, Clemson should quickly dispatch the lower division opponents. The bigger story is Clemson has wrapped up ACC action with a 7-1 record in conference play. Without a loss from Miami or multiple by SMU, however, the Tigers will not be going to the ACC championship game. Clemson will win this one going away. They'll smash Citadel. 56-7. I got Clemson all over the Citadel. So, MF, your thoughts?
Total agreement. I'm going to go with Clemson as well. I think they're going to win this game. There's really not more to add. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Clemson winning this one as well. So let's move on to the next game.
And I believe, yep, that is all for the 3:30 matchups. Okay, so we move on to a 4 o'clock kickoff. Another game with no spread. The number 18 South Carolina Gamecocks back at home at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, and they're going to be welcoming the Wolford Terriers to South Carolina. This game can be found over on the SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. Jay Alter and Rocky Boyman on the call. No spread. Doesn't matter. South Carolina is a you got to imagine South Carolina will be an overwhelming favorite in this one. So not much more to say. MF, number 18, South Carolina at home against Wofford.
Yeah, and it's going to be South Carolina. There's not going to be much for us to talk about on this one. South Carolina wins. Bullock, go.
Yeah, South Carolina wins this one. It's yours, Florio.
After an emotional last-minute win over Missouri and before a trip to rival Clemson, the goal for South Carolina may be avoiding a sluggish start and building a comfortable early lead. But as you can imagine, I'm not worried about the scorching Gamecocks against an FCS team. Another easy one here, South Carolina. They're going to smash Wofford 45-10. South Carolina all over Wofford. So move on to a 4:15 kickoff now. And you can find this game over on the SEC network. The number 23 Missouri Tigers on the road against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Davis Wade Stadium at Scott Field in Starkville, Mississippi. You can find this game over on the SEC network. The main SEC network, that is. Taylor Zarzar, Matt Stinchcomb, and Alyssa Lang. They will be on the call. And Missouri opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, I believe this goes to you. So number 23, Missouri on the road against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I got Missouri winning this one. I think they should be able to handle their business with Mississippi State. So it's yours.
Yeah. Okay. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay. I know I have it in here somewhere. Or is this well, actually I don't have a full-on preview of this matchup, but what I will do is I will give you a final score. I do have a score prediction for this game though. I have Missouri winning this game. I think they'll win it by 2 scores. I'm going to say 35-21. I got Missouri. I think they'll bounce back from that gut-wrenching loss at South Carolina last week. So give me Mizzou to win 35-21. MF, your thoughts, Missouri and Mississippi State?
Yeah, I agree. I think Missouri is going to win the game as well. I just feel like you said, that heartbreaking loss that they suffered last week is going to be a rallying cry for their team, and I do believe they'll get the job done. So Missouri wins. Florio, it's yours.
All right, gentlemen, it's the primetime games now, and oh baby, here we go. The other big main event. This is, in my mind, the number 2 game of the week right here. Just to kick off our 2 7:00 games, the number 6 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They will be the designated home team as they will square off against the number 19 Army Black Knights. It's not at Notre Dame Stadium. They finished their schedule at Notre Dame Stadium. This game, part of the legendary Shamrock series, of course, and this one will emanate from the house that Ruth built, baby. The home of your 2024 American League champions, the New York Yankees. That is, of course, the one and only Yankee Stadium in the Bronx on NBC. And believe it or not, it's the Big Ten on Saturday night crew. They're actually going to be working this game. Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, and Catherine Tappan. They will be at Yankee Stadium for this one. Notre Dame opening up as a 14.5-point favorite in this big matchup here. So with that being said, it's only fitting I started off because it's my team at the home. It's my college football team at the home of my favorite baseball team. So still can't get over how great they were this year. Far exceeded my expectations, but that's another story. But anyways, let's get into this monumental matchup with number 6 Notre Dame against number 19 Army. One of the most interesting stories in college football this year has been the 9-0 Army, up to number 19 in the most recent CFP rankings. But the Black Knights get a tough test here in number 6 Notre Dame, with the Irish entering this at 9-1 and as 14.5-point favorites. There's a lot on the line for both teams. For Notre Dame, watch for running back Jeremiah Love, 720 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, averaging 6.3 yards a carry. For Army, keep an eye on their quarterback Bryson Daly, who leads the team in both passing yards at 644 and rushing yards 1,062, and has accounted for 28 touchdowns, 7 through the air and 21 on the ground, against only 1 interception to this point.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm waiting for this to load. Okay. The short version is Notre Dame's defense should rule the evening. But what about Army's physical group? While the competition level is lower for Army, only one opponent has surpassed 14 points. This is an informative matchup about Notre Dame's offense and Army's upside. I think Army's going to give Notre Dame some fits, but I ultimately have Notre Dame pulling it out at the end. I'm going to go 28-20. Notre Dame defeats Army in what should be a very fun game at Yankee Stadium. These two teams played there back in 2010. Notre Dame had an easy time with Army. They won 27-3. I don't foresee that happening here, even though Notre Dame's been playing really well over the last couple of months. And with only one close game, I mean, with the exception of the Louisville game, all their other opponents as of late have all been routes. So if they pull a route here, I wouldn't be surprised, but Army will give them some fits, but I do think Notre Dame will pull it out at the end. 28-20, I got Notre Dame defeating Army. Man, I cannot wait to see this. So not much more to say. MF, number 6 Notre Dame, number 19 Army, Yankee Stadium on a Saturday night on NBC. Wow, does it get any better than that? I think not.
It's kind of funny because remember how we said that we thought Navy was going to give Notre Dame fits and Notre Dame absolutely just whitewashed them? I hate to say this. I think it's going to happen again. I know everybody's thinking that Army is going to give Notre Dame a whole bunch of fits and maybe some trouble in this game. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I think Notre Dame's going to blow them out, and I think it's going to be another whitewash. Notre Dame wins by at least 3 touchdowns is my prediction in this game. So nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Notre Dame to beat Navy in this one. So yeah, closer or blowout, either way, I got Notre Dame winning. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, let's move on to the other 7 o'clock game. And it features the number 12 Boise State Broncos on the road against the Wyoming Cowboys, the alma mater of one JA-17. Oh, by the way, that's where Josh Allen played his college football, Wyoming, of course. Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium in Wyoming. And you can find this game over on the CBS Sports Network. CBS Sports Network will have this game, and On that call, it'll be Rich Waltz, and it's Rich Waltz and Robert Turbin. And Boise State opening up as a 22.5-point favorite. MF, Boise's back. We know this. Boise State is back. They go to Wyoming on Saturday night. And another chance for us to see the best running back in the game today, Boise State running back Ashton Gianti, who I believe will further make a case for the Heisman Trophy. I expect another big one out of him.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well. I think that Boise State's going to win this game and win this one pretty comfortably. As a matter of fact, as you notice, if they continue the path that they're going, they actually could be now. There's this thing about the Power Five, and they could be the best of the non-Power Five to get into the playoff. But the thing is, with them, they actually could leapfrog a few teams and they might be able to get one of the first round buys because of how good they've been playing. So I believe they'll continue that success. They'll definitely include add to that resume by beating a very gamed Wyoming. So Boise State wins. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Boise State winning this one as well. I mean, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on.
Just 3 defenses have surrendered more yards per carry than Wyoming. Ashton Gianti is the best running back in the country. This is not a good combination for Wyoming. Boise State's going to smash them. Boise State all over Wyoming, 45-17. Give me Boise all over Wyoming. We have 3 games left, and they're all 7:30 kickoffs. And we move on to what on paper should have been an exciting matchup, but maybe not so much. It's a battle of 2 of the greatest and 2 of the most successful programs in the history of college football. The number 7 Alabama Crimson Tide on the road against the Oklahoma Sooners. Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman. And it's the ABC Saturday night game of the week. And we know who's working that as always. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, maybe Laura Rutledge as well. I don't know. We'll see. But nonetheless, Alabama opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, you start off our 7:30 and our final slate of games here. Number 7, Alabama at Oklahoma, a battle of 2 of the greatest programs in the history of the game.
Yeah, definitely 2 of the great programs in the history of college football. I mean, on paper earlier this year, I would have said this would have been a really good game, but I think Alabama's going to be all over Oklahoma in this one. So give me Alabama to win this. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Oklahoma simply makes too many mistakes to believe it can assemble a shocking win over Alabama. The offense has lost multiple turnovers in 4 straight SEC games, and Alabama has notched 3+ takeaways in 5 straight games. Bama will win this one comfortably. 38-17, Alabama all over Oklahoma. Like I said, in a game that when the schedule came out, you were thinking, oh, this is a potential game of the week right here. Oh, no. So not much more to say. 38-17, Roll Tide, Bama all over Oklahoma. MF, 2 of the great programs in the game. A game that when the schedule came out, we were all excited about. Not so much now.
Yeah. One of them knew what the assignment was. The other one did not. Unfortunately, Bama knew the assignment. Oklahoma did not. And unfortunately, it is going to be Roll Tide. Sorry, Woodson family. We hate to do it to you guys, but it's Bama. Bama's going to win and win this comfortably. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Okay. The next 7:30 matchup. Another good one out of the SEC. The number 15 Texas A&M Aggies on the road against the Auburn Tigers, Jordan Hare Stadium in Auburn. And you can find this game over on you can find this game over on ESPN. And now here's the thing. Dave Fleming is going to be sitting in for Bob Wischusen because he's going to be working with Bob Wischusen's crew. So it'll be Dave Fleming along with Louis Riddick and Chris Budden. They'll be at Jordan Hare for this one. And Texas A&M opening up as only a 2.5 point favorite. The spread is only 2.5 for Texas A&M against Auburn. So let's get into this one here. I'll tell you what, it's not a product of Texas A&M coach Mike Elko mistakenly saying our focus is single-handedly on Texas. I mean Auburn in a press conference. Auburn is not good. Yet for one evening, as a desperate team at home in a night game, it could, keyword could, be good enough, but I don't think it will be. This is definitely a trap game for A&M. Like I said, the spread's only 2.5, but I still got to go with A&M though. A&M is the better team here, so give me A&M to win this one. My final score 24-19. Texas A&M over Auburn, but it's not going to be easy. So because Auburn, we know how scrappy they can be. So especially at Jordan Hare. So give me Texas A&M to win 24-19. MF. Number 15, Texas A&M, trap game at Auburn. Not an easy place to win.
Yeah, not an easy place to win in Jordan Hare. Like you said, Auburn's going to be a little bit of a scrappy team. You never know what to get from them, but I think A&M's got enough. I think they'll be able to eke out the win here, sneak it to the finish line, and get the victory here. So I got nothing more to say. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, Texas A&M should win this one. I mean, it's going to be close. I mean, because like you said, they are in Auburn, and it's always a tough place to play, but I think they'll pull it out. So give me Texas A&M to win. So I think this is the last game for you.
Yes, it is, Bullock. This is the final game of this loaded week number 13. Oh, next week will be even more loaded. I'll tell you that right now. Final game of the night. Also a 7:30 kickoff. The number 22 Iowa State Cyclones on the road against the Utah Utes, Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. This game can be found over on Fox. Chris Myers and Robert Smith will be calling this game, and Iowa State opening up as a 7-point favorite. So I believe MF leads off on our final game of the night. Number 22 Iowa State going up against Utah at Rice-Eccles.
Dangerous game as you always get, especially if you're going into Rice-Eccles Stadium because you never know how Utah is going to play. They've just been so inconsistent this year. I think Iowa State's going to eke this out. I just feel like, I feel like they're just going to do just enough to win it. But would I be surprised if Utah wins it? No, but I got Iowa. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Iowa State winning this one as well. So you got the last say, Florio.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Utah has mustered 259 and 272 yards, its lowest outputs of the season over the last 2 weeks. Any hopes of an upset are heavily dependent on Utah's defense once again. Iowa State ekes it out 24-16. Iowa State over Utah. And with that, we put the bow on this loaded Week 13 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again tomorrow night, same time, right back here on the Tone 25, the Week 12 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. You know we're going to have a lot to say about the Cleveland Browns' shocking upset of the Pittsburgh Steelers here tonight. And, of course, we'll preview all the other games. Gentlemen, when it comes to our side of the ledger, the football gods did not smile on us. They gave us one good game, but the other ones, not so much. But there could be a cross flex. You never know. We'll see. But anyways, we'll get into all the action tomorrow night, and then we'll take it from there. We have to put our heads together in regards to future content, and we'll address that, after we go off the air, and then we'll plug it tomorrow night. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here for Girl MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever in spirit, the one and only Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Week 12 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, you've been watching the Week 13 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody. Bye.